Hey, babies. Welcome back to Blended the Podcast. I'm Destiny.
I'm Sierra.
Today, we are going to have a super authentic conversation with you guys because Sierra actually needs some advice. So we're like, let's record an episode. Why not? We're going to kind of chat about how do you know when it's ready to like take the next step in your business, or if you are like part-time in your business, like how do you know it's time to like go full force in, give your business your all?
I already feel judged from her. Like she's looking at me. I feel judgy vibes. I already feel like I know what you're going to tell me.
But let me clear it up. The reason she feels judged is because we've been having this conversation for years.
Yeah, but I feel like now.
It's hard though. I get it.
Yeah.
I told Sierra, I'm like, to be honest with you.
I'm like nervous.
I'm like, you need a baby.
She said I need a baby because, she told me that I need a baby because Nico pushed her to realize that she is the only one that she can basically rely on to provide for her baby. Yeah. And that's why I started my business, because I was like, I'm the only one I can rely on to make sure I'm okay with like having a business. But then I was so well taken care of during like the pandemic and everything like that with like the employer I was with. Like she really made sure I was taken care of. And then I realized that like her making sure I was taken care of was also taking care of herself by her not having to be there in the trenches. Yeah. And I was too. And she did a lot to help me get to where I am. And I feel like I have a lot of like loyalty and like almost guilt around like growing past the point of where it makes financial sense for me to stay. Yeah. And like, I feel like I went to school, I did math class. Like, you know, I understand the numbers. Though. Yeah. But then I'm also like, we talk about scarcity mindset and we talk about like, you know, always doing what's best for you. And I understand all of those things, but y'all, it's hard. And I just wanted to be really authentic right now. And like, I'm struggling too. Like, yeah, I'm in a place where I still haven't paid myself for my business. Not that I couldn't, I definitely could. So it doesn't feel real yet. And me and Dante even had a conversation about it. Like
that's what blows my mind even more. Like
that I haven't.
Like you're so emotionally connected to the situation that you're in that you can't even realize the position that you're in. The fact that you financially have not had to pay yourself from your lash business should be enough to be like, I can take the next step. Because I think that's one of the scariest things. I mean, talking about money is scary in general, especially having businesses where we rely on us to bring that in. I mean, at any second you could lose it. Right. You know, whether that's you don't have clients or whether that's you break your hand or, you know.
But I'm insured for that.
But it's still, but even with insurance, you don't get 100% of your income.
No, you get 70%.
So it's still, and
I have to go through all the process
and
of
with
proving
that, like as a business owner, you're not necessarily showing 100% of your income to even get 70% of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know? So I get it, but sometimes you can't always make calculated decisions. Sometimes you just have to fucking do it. Yeah. Like you just have to do it, you know? And my thing is like, the first thing you need to work on, and it's like, it's mindset. Okay. Because even if you do something, in my opinion, if you're a good entrepreneur, even if you make a decision that wasn't necessarily right for your business, you're going to figure it out, you know? So you make that decision and you're like, crap, maybe this wasn't my time to do it. Okay, your mindset is there. Maybe this wasn't the best decision, but how can I make it the best decision? You know? And just like making sure you're working hard for that. And I truly feel like if you have your passion for it, if it's something that you really want and you have a drive for it, why not? You're literally putting your time and energy into someone else's business when you have your own thriving business. You know what I mean? I think the biggest holdback for people is finances. And, you know, it goes back to previous trauma, childhood, whatever the case was. We all have some kind of trauma around money, whatever it is. I don't care who you are. You have some connection to money. You know, mine is spending money. Sierra's is saving money. So for me, it's easier for me to make decisions where I have to spend money for my business because I grew up with that. you know, where yours is like, I have to save my money because I never know what the next step in my life is going to be.
Yeah, I think it's from like being a military kid and moving all the time. And we went from, I was spoiled. I had everything I could have ever wanted. And then the family expanded and our whole lives changed. And like my mom got sick and then we literally lost everything. Yeah. And I think it showed me that like if you have a nest egg, then you're fine. And what doesn't make sense to me, this is what I'm struggling with, y'all, is like, I have a nest egg.
Yeah, right.
I have 2 nest eggs.
Right.
But like, I don't know what I feel. Literally, I feel like I know what I'm supposed to do. I just literally cannot make myself pivot. And now I'm in a place where I'm like, okay, if I have an opportunity to expand the business and grow and get into another space and things like that, I'm thinking about doing that. But then I'm like, okay, I could also focus on the online aspect of my business and me not being behind the chair 24/7 and making the money that way. But like either way, I know I need to pivot to take that next step in the business. But then I also
and focusing on your business.
Yeah, I know that the next part is to focus on my business, and I know that I'm going to have to like take those steps. That in itself is hard. Like I've talked to so many people about it and I've been like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I've been saying I'm going to do it for how freaking long now? Like I have to freaking do it. Mm-hmm. And like that I've come clear on. Now I'm more so like, okay, I'm going to do it. I gave myself a set date. It's next week. So I have to do it and pull the trigger. But where I'm at is like, I don't know if I should take the next step to like you did. Like you literally just did what I'm sitting here scared to do. Like you just expanded. We have this beautiful recording studio now. You have this bigger salon and it's amazing. And you still haven't added a person yet because you're still looking for that perfect person.
Right.
But if I expand, I'm going to need to find that person like ASAP, you know? And I feel like I want that aspect of the business as well. But then I feel like maybe I just want some more time to focus on me.
And I was going to say, I think it's really like at the end of the day, it's getting back down to, we all have our why and we all have our goals, but like really getting specific to that. And I think it's really easy to like, I know I personally get sucked into looking at what other people are doing.
That's what happens.
And getting influenced and be like, oh my God, this person just like opened up this salon. Like maybe I should do that.
Yeah.
Or this person just started doing business coaching. So maybe I should do that.
Yeah.
And like being an entrepreneur, it's natural for you to have all of these ideas, but you have to really take the time. Like honestly, one of my favorite things to do, and I haven't done one in a long time, is to go on a business retreat. And I've been on 2 before, and I've been surrounded by other women who have similar goals and similar mindsets, and just be able to like sit down and like really just purposely make plans and make goals and like talk about what you have going on to get that clearer picture. Because when you have all the noise of the world and everything going on around you, it's easy to get confused and to be influenced, and subconsciously, like not even like realizing that the decisions you're making aren't because of you, they're because of like the people around you, or what you want other people to like think, you know? Because I remember like I always kind of like, and I'm going to be super transparent too, like the space I'm in now, I've grown into. I'm not a super huge risk taker. I have made risk, but they're not, I went from like being a commission salon to completely just opening my own salon. You know, like I've started in a salon suite and then, you know, I went into a bigger, like this is my 1, 2, 3, 4th salon I've been in on my own. And each step I made like grew me
like baby steps.
It grew me to the next space.
And so that's what I'm listening to right now a lot on other podcasts and things like that. And the advice I'm receiving is like, if you don't take that next step, it's like with entrepreneurs and our mindsets, it's like that next step will push us, kind of like what you're saying. And like, it will make us successful in that way. But if you don't push yourself, you're not gonna be there.
Yes.
And that's what I'm really stuck on. I'm like, do I need to just push myself and be there? Or do I not push myself in the way of expanding and push myself in the way of marketing the business until I literally don't have any more time? And that's what I'm scared of because y'all, my back already hurts.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even joking. Like it wasn't like I had to take a whole day to not move because my back was killing me. And we talk about this, but like my goal ultimately 100% is to not be behind the chair for a lot longer.
Right.
You know? And I'm like, we hear a lot that to not be behind the chair all the time you have to hire and you have to have a salon with employees and this and that. And then it's like,
you don't,
but I don't, you know, but then I go back and forth and I'm like, do I want to expand? Do I want a bunch of employees? Do I want to just focus on me and building my brand and helping other women?
I think too, like we both are similar in the way where we're go hard or go home.
Yes.
And it's like, you're kind of focused on having other employees, but like in reality, you could do that where you are now. You're not in your studio every single day.
No, but I would have to trust somebody enough to give them the key to my space when I'm not there.
So if you expanded, you would be there all the time.
I don't want to be there.
Exactly.
Oh, shit. But if I expanded, they could be there the days that I'm there. And eventually I'm still going to have to trust someone to be there when I'm not there.
And that's hard too.
But what I'm worried about is like, if I bring someone in and they're there when I'm not there, that doesn't give me the opportunity to get to know them, to see how they work, to see how they are with my clients. And then I could step away in a bigger space on days that I wasn't there because I would have someone that I know, like, and trust to make sure that my clients, because ultimately it's my business, my name on the line, like, are okay. But if I'm not there, right there where I can see everything going on. And I think it might be a control issue and a trust issue, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't just be hands off immediately.
What if you I'm just thinking about like your space now. Cause I know right now you kind of have your bed like your window is here and your bed is this way. Have you ever thought of like having a bed against the wall and a bed against the window?
You can't have two beds in that space from DBPR. She told me, like, I'm literally in a place where, like, so if I don't expand, I'm stuck. You don't
have the space to do it. You just don't.
I don't have the space. Like, I don't have the legal space.
Okay, I didn't realize that part.
Yeah, like if someone's in there,
you were just like, oh, I don't have enough space. Like, it's gonna be crowded. But like, you literally can't have another bed in there.
Yeah, remember when we had the episode and I told you the DBPR lady came in and we were talking about like. She was telling me stuff had been like on the dock to be made illegal. She also told me, she was like, oh, well, this is this many square feet. Is there anyone else here working? And I said no. And that was a trap question. And then she was like, oh yeah, well, that's good because you only have this many square feet. You can only have one artist in here at a time.
Interesting.
Like one licensed salon professional.
I didn't realize that part.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I was to be there still and expand with somebody else, they'd have to be there on days that I'm not there. Then I thought about renting out my space on days that I'm not there, but then that's a whole nother trust thing, which I could do a build out and then like lock up certain stuff and then like literally rent the bed.
Yeah.
That could be a thing. But then that gets into like subleasing and I don't know how my
And that's not really like building a team.
And
either.
It's not. It's just like subsidizing some income, which I could do, but like that's not
really what you're looking for.
No.
You're looking,
which a lot of people have told me that that's what I should do. And I'm like, I think that's cool. That would give me more money, I guess. But then that's also with liabilities. What if they don't lock the door when they leave? What if, and my OCD, I don't trust myself to lock the door, y'all. Like I will get down the street halfway and like, because I have OCD, I will literally turn around. Yeah. Or I will stay up all night or I will check my camera and like rewind it to see I locked the door. Yeah. And I don't want to be that person to somebody else.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
No, I get that for sure.
So
that's one of the reasons I've kind of like, held off. But I have come to the conclusion myself where I think we're both in these similar situations where we're ready to grow, but growth is not a necessity for us to live the lifestyle that we're living now.
Yeah. I could just keep doing the same thing and be fine.
So when I was like pregnant, like I needed to make more money because I was making enough for single destiny, but I wasn't making enough for family destiny. And so it really like, I was like, okay, like you got a baby coming, you're going to have daycare, like, food, whatever, buy stuff for the nursery. So I had to.
And I'm not going to lie, I'm like kind of in that place right now too, where I'm 28, right? Like we've talked about kids. If I'm going to have kids, I have to kind of start thinking about it now.
Right.
Right. I've already been told, this is a personal thing, but I was told as a teenager that like I might not be able to have kids one day. So I've always kind of pushed that into the back of my mind. Like, oh, I'm never going to have kids, but Dante really wants kids. And I think he's going to be an amazing dad. And like, even if it's not with him and say something doesn't work out, I don't know how I'm going to feel if I like don't set up my life to where I could do it if I wanted to.
Right.
So I feel like 28 Sierra needs to prepare for 30-year-old Sierra or 31-year-old Sierra or 35, whatever. But like, I'm in a place now where like, I need to start planning for future me.
Yeah.
Which I think we all are always in that place. But the time clock is ticking.
Yeah. I think too, like, just to be super completely honest with you, like, because recently you've been talking about like expanding and having a salon, but then I know from personal conversations, I don't think that's what you want.
That's why I wanted to have this conversation with you, because like we're best friends, and you know parts of me that no one does.
Yeah, because it's just like, and I've been there. I
feel like I go through the phases that you were just in all the time,
because it's like you feel like that's what you need to do to advance
financially.
And financially, status wise, like it's not just money, but it's like I'm a salon business owner, you know what I mean? But just from our personal conversations, number one, if you're a salon business owner, there's a lot that goes into that, and you're talking about wanting to step behind, like we've talked about, like creating passive incomes for ourselves, moving out of the country or like traveling out of the country for long periods of time and still being able to make money. Having a salon isn't really that. Like, sure, you can get to the point eventually where you can have a manager and stuff like that. But I don't know, just knowing you and knowing what we've talked about and knowing your goals and what you're looking for, I just don't feel that's what you want necessarily. I think if there was a situation where, like, for me, this space was a godsend space, it was like the square footage was good, the price was good, like that's different. But for you to like invest a ton of money, like tens of thousands of dollars into I don't think that that's what you want. Like, I feel like if like God sent you a space that worked and you didn't have to go in and like completely renovate it, and, you know, the rent was a good price and all of this stuff, like, you know, I think that that would be something. But to just go and like
push myself.
Yeah. I feel like there's definitely other revenues of ways to like bring in additional money. I mean, we've talked about like, you're so amazing at lashes and you specialize in a wispy lash that like not a lot of people know how to do. Like education, whether that's in person, whether that's courses,
and I've been
whether
thinking
that's
about
coaching. That. You've created an online lash, like for people who aren't necessarily ready for lash extensions, but still want the beautiful lash with the segment lashes. You have opportunities to expand in that way, where I feel like they can even make more income than a salon can. A salon is still capped. You know what I mean? You can only reach the people in Jacksonville and maybe a few people who are going to travel. When you have an online business, you can reach the world.
I love you.
I just think it's really easy to get sucked into what society expects of you or what the people around you. Like, I know for me, like, I'll have salon friends like opening up hairstylist friends opening up salons. And then so in my mind, I'm like, oh, maybe I should like, it's just easy to be influenced, especially with social media, to be subconsciously influenced by what people around you are doing. Or like you have a friend who just expanded into her business in her storefront, bigger storefront.
It's her realtor I'm talking to.
And I feel like it's easy to see that and think that that's what you want.
Yeah. You know? And then she's telling me as I'm doing her lashes and stuff, she was like, girl, like I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life. Like this was godsend. This was amazing. And she paid rent in that space for a year.
But that's her journey.
It is her journey. But she's also telling me like, you should do it. You should push yourself. You should like, you know, like you'll be so successful. And I'm like,
but I think it's easy for someone who doesn't know you to a core to say that. And I think it is genuine of her.
Yeah.
To think that like, this is what you want, you know, but it's like, I don't know, just.
Yeah, I feel like I'm hearing so much coming at me. And a lot of times, like, it's great when you reach a point in your business where people are like, I'm so proud of you and you've done so much and all these other things. But yeah, like, I'm not going to lie. Like, the reason that I felt like I wanted to do this podcast with you was because we keep each other humble and we keep each other genuine. And like, I really felt like I wanted somebody else to have an opportunity to have what I have with you. Do you know what I mean? And like, a lot of girls don't. But that's what it was. Yeah. And like, if I didn't have you right now, I'm probably going to cry.
Well, stop. Literally stop.
I'm serious.
Stop, Sierra. Stop. I love you.
I love you too.
Sierra never cries. I don't think I've ever seen her cry before.
Yeah. So anyways, they know, like, I literally don't cry.
I don't think I've ever seen you cry, like legit.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is I wanted other people to have what I have with you, because I do feel like you give me a way for myself to like get my thoughts processed. And a lot of times my entire life, it's been like, oh, Sierra, you have to be this excellent overachiever and you have to do this. And like, that's cool. Like, I was like winning awards and doing all these crazy things, and I was on the freaking president's list, and like, but that shit is fucking hard, y'all. Yeah. Like, it's hard to wake up every day and like provide and do all these amazing things. And I'm like, I'm scared. Like, the reality is like, I'm doing it and that's cool, but the shit is still tiring and I'm hard. Like, I'm just...
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody's telling me like, this is what you need to do next. And these are people that I do look up to and I do respect. But then I'm also like, I don't even know what I want to do right now, because there's so many different opportunities and places I could go and things I could do. And I need to keep myself honest with me.
Yes.
And what I want.
100%.
And I feel like you do that for me. Like, I'll be influenced by someone and you'll be like, no, like, come over here. Yeah. Like, don't, or like, you tell me the truth.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel the same with you. And I can genuinely say, like, you're one of the first friendships I've had that, like, we'll fight. Yeah, we will. We really will. Yeah. And it's like, but we do it because we love each other.
Yeah.
We know each other so much. Like, there was a period of time where you were going through stuff, I was going through stuff, and we weren't like talking that much, but it was never like, oh, I'm mad at, it was just like, there was just so much. Yeah, there was just so much going on, which honestly, us not talking was probably the worst thing we could have done for each other.
I know.
But it was,
we know that now.
It was just a whole thing. Like, it was just a whole thing. And it had nothing to do with us and our friendship. It was surrounding things going on. It's so important to have someone. And I feel like we tell you guys, like, we are here for a genuine community. And like, we mean that in the deepest part of our hearts. Like, it is not a game. It is not something that we're just say, like, you know, people are like, oh, I'll pray for you. You know, like, no, like when we say that we are community and that like we are here for you, we mean that, because we both have been put on this like pedestal in our families, in our life, to be perfect, to put everything
like
together,
even our life partners,
to take care of it.
They put us on a pedestal. So I feel like I have Dante and I can talk to him. Not that he's not supportive. He is.
He doesn't get it though.
But he doesn't understand like the pressure that a business owner has. And he doesn't understand. Like, he
being
just
the
told
oldest daughter and having to step in.
And then now with me just seeing my sister damn near fucking die.
Right.
Like. Right. Now I'm like, I need to put myself in a position where I can financially provide her a career, not just a job through high school. Like, she's not going to leave us. Right. Like, she's afraid to even, because, you know, she's got like this whole thing that's going to last for her the rest of her life. And I've never thought about that. I used to always think, oh, I have to take care of my mom. But now I'm like, I have to take care of both of them. And my mom can take care of herself and that's fine. But like, you know, I'm from in like my family, like they're immigrants. Like, you don't not take care of your family.
Yeah. It's like you're always looking for the next step, and it's not even, I tell my husband this all the time, like, it's not even for you.
No.
Like, it's for your family. It's for your future.
And like, I don't want to make the wrong decision.
As beautiful as that can be for people looking inside, like, oh my God, you're not even 30 and you have all, like, it's so emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually exhausting, you know?
Like, yeah.
I literally had a client yesterday, because she was like, where's your car? And I was like, girl, my car's been in the shop for 3 weeks. I got into an accident. And she knows everything else going on in my life. And she's like, how are you getting through it? And before I could even say anything, she was like, God. She's like, you're praying. It's so hard. And like, as much as I have faith in God and I love God, he's not here. So like, I need people as well. But he puts those people into our life because of that, you know, like, so it is. It's so important. And it's just like, I was actually just thinking about this other day. Like, I feel like, and I think I said on Instagram, I was like, I feel like I just need like a retreat. Like, I just need to like go away. Oh, did I say it to you? Okay. I couldn't remember. I was like, I feel like I just need to like get away and get my thoughts clear and almost have it written out and framed. And anytime,
to keep you honest.
Yeah. Anytime I start thinking about something else, it's like, this is what I'm looking for. not to get obsessed with that goal, because obviously paths change.
Yeah.
But to remember your why, to remember what you want, and not to remember, like, think about what other people want for you or what you think you should do, you know?
So your advice is take a vacation.
Yes. You know, I'm always down. I'm free all of July. June and July.
Were we supposed to do
It's
that?
like mid-June right now.
Girl, you ain't free. We just went through all your shit until January.
July. I'm moving next week and I haven't packed anything.
Yeah, I'm like, you're moving. Anyways,
I know we kind of got off like topic a little bit and emotional. So just to kind of like reel it back into our advice for what is your next step in your business.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about next step as far as like growing goes already in your business. But I know you're also in a position where you're working for someone else and you're working for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, not only is it what's the next step in my business, but how do I know to go from like part-time or working for another company to investing all of my time into my business? Because what do you have going on right now that you're kind of struggling with?
I work with one makeup and hair company. I work with another makeup and hair company, and I work for myself. But I can basically tell them like no to things, but then I find that I'm like committing to things down the road, and then it's starting to like, so I didn't think I was going to get clients on Saturdays, right? I left this Saturday open, girl, I'm booked.
For lashes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just asked me about a job, and I was like, oh, I'm booked. So I think that what I'm doing is creating something where I feel like I have to rely on it, and I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've been telling you that though.
I know. But I'm seeing it now. You told me leave open a Saturday, and I did it.
Yeah.
And then they booked it.
And I was just about to say, here's what I kind of did, because I was in a similar situation where when I went on my own, I was still working for the company where we met each other.
Yeah, you were.
Doing weddings and events. And then I was working for myself as well.
Yeah. So what made you take the leap?
Well, for starters, like when I first started working for this company, I was in a commission salon. Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't making as much money. So like when I was working for her, I was making good money, you know?
Right. And that's where my guilt is too, is that like, if you look at it from societal standards, what I'm making an hour with her is good money.
Yes. First it was like, okay, I'm only going to work on, I think I did like, I'm only going to work on Sunday weddings or every other Saturday so that I could open up my Saturday at the salon. So I was like, I'm only going to do weddings every other Saturday, or I'm only going to do weddings 2 Saturdays a month.
I did that.
Then it was, I'm only going to do morning weddings. So like I need to be done by like 12 or 1 o'clock so that I can go to my salon, and I'm not doing anything far away. So it was like, I just started getting super specific. I wouldn't book out further than 6 months. And I kind of slowly made those steps. Sometimes it's better for people to just like cold turkey it. But if you're someone who is really scared of it, take those little baby steps. And then it was like, okay, I'm making this much in the salon. Because here's my thing. You can't just look at, okay, I made this much in weddings and this much in salon. Because when you're doing weddings, it's not just how much money you're making. It's the time and energy that you invested into someone else's business that you can invest into yourself. So it's like, look at the income that you're creating in your business and the patterns that are there. And then what more that could be, you know? When you get home from work, you don't want to get on Instagram. You don't want to respond to clients. You have just spent,
I'm doing it.
You are, but you don't want to. Like, it's exhausting. You've poured so much into someone else's business. And I think it's easy too, because it's like, well, I'm a contractor. Like, I'm working for myself. But like, you are, but you're not. You're still working. Like, what you do for the weddings, sure, will someone rebook you down the road? Maybe you'll get a lash client from it. But it's not, what you're pouring into those people isn't really giving you a return of investment into yourself. And that's what you have to remember. Even if you could do a wedding on a Saturday and make $600, or you could go to the lash studio and only make $400 because you're new to opening up Saturdays. Those are returning clients for you. Those are clients that are going to refer other clients to you that are going to bring it in. You're going to be able to work on your skills of your lashes to get better.
And market.
Exactly. So it's like in the beginning, financially, it might not match up, but your return of investment is for your business and not for someone else's business. Because guess what? You do a beautiful bride, maybe her friend gets married and requests you, or maybe they just go to the company and said, oh, I just want to work with the company in general. You know, it's not a guarantee. When you're doing things for your own business, if someone refers, it is a guarantee that it is your business.
That's true. And I've definitely thought about that. So I think what I need to do from what you're saying is write it down, like write down what I truly want at my core, get clear, post it somewhere that I'm going to see it.
And not even just like, oh, I want to expand, or I want to have an online business. Like for me, I was like, I want to be home on Saturdays. So what do I need to do in my business to make sure that I can be home on Saturdays? It didn't even have to be like, oh, I want to have an assistant, or I want to make this much money. Like internally, the happiness, your personal growth, what do you want? I want to be home with my family. I want to be home on Saturdays. This is for me. I want to be home for dinner. I want to be able to go to the playground after work and not be exhausted. So then from there, I was able to be like, okay, for that to happen, I can't work on Saturdays. I can't work on evenings. Okay, what do I need to do in my business to make sure that that can happen? So doing weddings is not going to fall into that, which is why I stopped. I didn't want to work on the weekends anymore.
And that's when weddings are.
Yeah.
Okay. So get clear, make my business work for me. And
you're going to figure it out. And that's the thing, Sierra. When have you ever failed? Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, even if you have your days where you're like, I feel like a failure or I could have done better, you're going to figure it out. Like you're going to figure it out. And if, like I said earlier, if what your original plan didn't work, you're going to find a different plan to make it work. I have confidence in you about that. Like I wouldn't ever tell you to stop doing something if I truly felt like you were going to fail at it.
I know.
You have to believe in yourself though.
I know.
And it's hard. I'm preaching to you, but like I look in the mirror and
it's hard.
Goes in one ear out the other.
Yeah.
You know?
And I feel like that's what I do with like our girls. Like we tell them all these things and like I know like what to, like that's what I'm saying. I know what to do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm preaching at you and I have steps in my business that like,
but it helps to hear it from someone else.
And I genuinely listen to our podcast and like get insight. Like even though it's something you say or like we have these conversations all the time, I will genuinely listen back and be like, okay.
Did you do anything like with your finances? Like, did you look at them? See, here's me being technical again. Did you like look at them and you were like, okay, this is when I should expand? Or like, when did you take the leap? Was it like when you knew you could fully only take care of yourself working in your business? Or was it when you felt like you should push yourself? Do you know what I'm saying?
So what I've always kind of done financial wise is I like to break things down into the day. When I had a general idea of my expenses and I broke that down into like, okay, if I want to work 4 days a week, this is how much I need to make in a day.
I did that.
And it made it easier for me to be like, okay, that's doable, you know, from there. Cause I'm going to be like, financially, we are so different. I don't like save or plan for stuff. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to do it and God's going to take care of me.
I feel like the perfect person would be like an in-between us.
I know. We're so extreme.
But that's why I need to talk to you because I feel like I need someone to be like, listen, like, stop that's my problem. I overthink and then I get analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. It was kind of weird for me because the first salon I was in, the second salon I went to was actually cheaper than the first one I was in. So that kind of helped me even more take steps to invest into my business, to let go of things because it wasn't as much. The jump from my second salon to my third salon was more than double of what I was paying.
That's what they're talking to me about right
now.
So
I was
more
paying
than double.
$800 a month and I went to $2,000 a month. And
you didn't want to shit your pants?
That was huge. But I was building a luxury business and I wanted to have an assistant and I knew that that is what I needed to do to expand. And that is the year that I doubled my income.
That's what I needed. Okay.
So not only was I able to pay my rent, but I doubled my income by doing it. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's just important when you're ready for that next step, don't forget to listen to yourself and not to what the world, what other people are saying around you, to know your why and make those decisions based off of your why, based off of what you want in your business, to not just focus on your income, but what your income could be from you jumping to that next part, and to just make sure you're communicating with your support group around you and making sure that you're staying grounded through those tough times, because they are going to come. We hope you guys enjoy this episode.
And Matt, I got emotional.
Thank you for allowing us to be raw and vulnerable with you guys, just as much as we want you guys to be raw with us. We're not perfect, but we will show up as us and encourage you guys to do the same. So, love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye, BBs.
Thanks for being our blended babes, aka BBs. Join the conversation and let your voice be heard. If you're ready for a revolution, don't forget to leave us a review wherever you're listening, and follow the journey on Instagram at blended_podcast.
Share this episode with your BB who is ready to beautify the beauty industry and rewrite the standards.
Get all the tea from this episode and more in the show notes.
Bye.